Next from Decatur, Governor Pat Quinn visits a new transmodal hub developed by ADM that will greatly expand the ability of Illinois agricultural products to be exported to overseas markets. This runs about 15 minutes.
Well, I'm very, very happy to be here today. I think it's really a special occasion, and as Scott just said, within a few short years, I think we'll see the dynamic growth of the Midwest inland port. Our state is a huge exporting state. We're the #1 exporting state by far in the Midwest. We're 5th in the country, and we're the only state that isn't on a coast that's a great exporter. And so the inland port that we're talking about today, together with some of the other inland ports in the state of Illinois, are a tremendous economic opportunity for all of us. Our goal, as just mentioned by Greg, is to double our exports by 2015. We're well on our way to do that. We're ahead of the national average in growing exports. And I want to personally thank Greg Webb for his commitment to exports. He's on our Export Council. I met the other day with Greg and Pat Wirtz, who I know couldn't be with us here today. But ADM, this great company, is certainly one of the reasons we're such a dynamic exporting state all across the country. We really stand out, and we have to understand that exports mean jobs right here in our own backyard. We have to expand our markets, whether it's South America, whether it's Asia, whether it's Africa, whether it's Europe. We have to understand that we are in a global economy, and as Scott just said, we can import and export right here through Decatur. And I think it's so important that we are gathered in Decatur between our state capital in Springfield and our great Champaign-Urbana, the home of the University of Illinois, a world-class institution. As you know, Abraham Lincoln, when he was president of the United States during the Civil War, signed the bill to build the Intercontinental Railroad, the Transcontinental Railroad. He also signed a bill to establish land-grant universities, the Morrill Act, that established our University of Illinois. So I think Abraham Lincoln would understand the importance of banding together and working together for jobs and economic growth. And I want to thank Chris Radogno, the leader of the Republican Party in the Senate, for being here today. As you know, a few years ago, we passed Illinois Jobs Now that Greg described. It's a huge investment in our roads and our bridges, our rail systems, our water systems, building new schools, repairing old schools. Very, very important. We worked together on that. I want to thank Chris for her leadership in that great movement. And I also want to thank Senator Andy Menard, who's here and was on the staff of the Senate at the time we passed the law and is now a state senator. Very, very committed to science, technology, engineering, and math. It's called STEM education. And if we're going to really capture the potential of this intermodal, we've got to have well-skilled workers who are ready to step in. We have a great Midwestern work ethic in our state of Illinois. We want to make sure our community college, like Richland Community College, our University of Illinois, Eastern Illinois, Illinois State University, and all of our great education institutions have students who graduate who can fill these very important jobs. And I want to thank Andy for his commitment on that, as well as Senator Chapin Rose. I want to thank Chapin for joining us here today, and Representative Sue Scheer from right here in Decatur understands how important it is to have an economic future based on the assets that exist here in Macon County. 3 Class 1 railroads, very, very important to Decatur and to Illinois, all coming together in one place. We thank CSX and CN, and as well as Norfolk Southern for their commitment to this intermodal. We have Norfolk Southern, Canadian National, and CSX all coming together in one place. You heard also about our connection to all these major roadways, whether it's I-72, I-74, I-55, I-57, and US 51 that we're working on right now and making a little wider and down a little bit south of here. And it's important that we make those kind of investments in the basic roads and bridges of Illinois to capture the full potential of this intermodal. We also understand We have an emerging technology grant that we were able to work with ADM on that. 2 of the high-capacity cranes that are going to be at this intermodal were funded with some help from our high technology grant. And these cranes are going to be able to handle, right now at the beginning, I think 50,000 containers, but with a potential going up to 150,000 containers. And we have to understand how important containers are to shipping and distribution worldwide. There was a book written a few years ago called The Box. It's all about the containerization of transportation, distribution, logistics. And we can capture many jobs if we have the capacity of intermodal expanded right here in central Illinois. And that's what this movement is. I want to thank Bill Mitchell, Representative Mitchell, for joining us, as well as Adam Brown. I think it's very important that we understand that we're all in this together. There's not a Republican intermodal or a Democratic intermodal. It's an Illinois intermodal right here in the Midwest. And we have to be proud of what we are putting together here with the great efforts of ADM. As you heard, it's privately owned, so it gives us a lot of flexibility to work with all kinds of transportation companies all across our Midwest, across our country, across our world. And I think I want to thank and make sure that local folks here who are part of the movement, and that includes Jay Dunn, who is chairman of the Macon County Board, are recognized, and Mike McElroy, who is the mayor of the city of Decatur, that was with Mike and others a few months ago, investing in water right here in Decatur. We have to make sure we have clean water. In order to make these great movements possible, we have to have all of our assets put together. And clean water is very, very important to our economy and to every single municipality and county in this state. And related to that is by having an intermodal. As we just saw on the video, we reduce carbon emissions. We improve our environment. It's very efficient. It's cost effective. Using rail to bring in goods and to ship out goods, very, very important. And you heard also how important ADM is to feeding the world. We have to make sure that we here in this bountiful state where we can grow corn and soybeans like nobody else, that we can use our ability and our fertility of our land and our productivity of our agriculture to really feed all of those hungry people all across this world. And very important to have the intermodal to make that possible. Now, somebody has to drive those trains, and I want to thank Paul Pekarsky. I saw him here today. He's chairman of the Illinois Legislative Board of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen. And I want to thank Paul for joining us, because it does take skilled engineers, those who know how to operate those big trains. We're a railroad state. This is a railroad town, and we want to thank all of our railroaders for their commitment to the intermodal. And we also understand that our state is growing corn and soybeans. We're very lucky to have the great farmers and people in agriculture that we have in Illinois. We just had one of our very best state fairs of all time. We had a huge attendance there. Lots of folks saw firsthand how important agriculture and agribusiness is to the state of Illinois. And I want to thank Bob Fleiter from right here in Macon County, our Director of Agriculture, for being here. We work together with our senators, Senator Durbin, Bill Houlihan is here, and Senator Kirk. We want to make sure that we all work together on this mission, because it is a statewide mission to grow jobs and to help make sure that the world understands that Illinois is a very powerful part of the world economy. We're the 19th largest economy, Illinois is, in the whole world, and we should never sell ourselves short. We have many things we still have to do, but this intermodal is a very key moment in our economic history in Illinois, because we can show the world, as we just heard, Decatur right now is 25th in the country, in the world, in terms of capacity for export. We want to move on up even higher, and I want to thank Adam Pollitt, our Director of the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, for being with us. And I don't want to forget all of those who are part of the movement. Andy Granta, who is the Vice President of Bulk for Canadian National, Claudio Bozo, President of the Mediterranean Shipping Company, Mike White, who is President of Merck's Containers and Transportation, Margaret Poorman, General Manager of America's Transportation at Caterpillar, Jeff Heller, Intermodal and Auto Marketing at the Norfolk Southern Railroad, and Bill Clement, who is the Vice President of Intermodal at CSX. I think it's important to understand that within a day's drive of right here in Decatur, Illinois, Macon County, there are 95 million people in our country, and indeed probably in Canada and even maybe in Mexico. So it's important to understand that we are right in the center of a great economic opportunity. We have to seize that opportunity. We have to work together in the best traditions of teamwork. That's what Lincoln believed in. Lincoln understood way back in the Civil War, in a very troubled time for our country, that investing in a transcontinental railroad, investing in a great system of land-grant universities was the way to go for America. We are now 150 years later, and we have to follow that tradition of making big investments, growing our economy, working with our private companies and our railroads and our ability to build roads to make Illinois a powerful economic powerhouse for this state, for this country, and for this world. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, and I look forward to seeing the intermodal firsthand. Thank you.
And on behalf of ADM, welcome to the ADM Intermodal Ramp. You can see that we're really excited about the opportunity we have, and hopefully as you came in the main entrance, you felt that, seeing the many local businesses in Central Illinois that are taking part of this. This project has been in years in making. It is a thrill for us to see it come to fruition today. We're honored that all of you could be here for this occasion. Thank you. At this time, I'll ask Governor Quinn, Juan Luciano, Scott Frederickson, Greg Webb, and Craig Coyle, CEO and President of EDC, Macon County, to join me up front for the official opening. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to declare the ADM Intermodal Ramp open for business. Let's make it official.
Economy of Central Illinois and for our whole state, and indeed for our whole country. The idea of intermodal, it's kind of new, but it's very special because it connects our railroads and our trucking to distribute goods and to export from our state to the whole world. And making this investment, ADM has made a huge investment here. We thank them for that. We got 3 major railroads coming into this intermodal. We have our highways and our trucking companies working on it. And then the other thing that's really good, I think, is that it expands our ability to export to the whole world. And we know that exports equal jobs in our own backyard. So having this dedication today is just the beginning. And we have to understand that Illinois agriculture is second to none. And the more we expand our transportation, our distribution, we can help feed the world from right here in Central Illinois.
You're watching the Illinois Channel, an independent nonprofit corporation formed to provide gavel-to-gavel coverage of Illinois state government and other public affairs events taking place across Illinois.